One of the biggest headaches for law enforcement in modern history. Over the past decade, the Hellcat has become the #1 choice for thieves, street racers, and anyone crazy enough to try outrunning the police. And honestly, it's not hard to see why. You got 707 horsepower and that flippin' supercharger noise. But here's the part Dodge never saw coming. They didn't just build a muscle car, they built a problem. Because no matter how fast the cops chase them, the Hellcat always seems to get away. Until one police department came up with a solution that no one expected. Something that almost seems like it should be illegal. We'll get to that soon. But first, you need to understand how this whole problem started. This is the wild story of how the Hellcat became America's most stolen, most wanted, and most feared car on the streets. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why cops hate that little Hell Kitty, and how they finally found a way to fight back. Let's rewind all the way back to 2015. 10 years ago, can you believe it? The world automakers were going green. We're talking hybrids, economy cars, electric everything, the Prius. That's what we're talking about. But then something weird happened. In the middle of all that, Dodge dropped these. The Charger and Challenger Hellcat. It was the exact opposite of what everyone else was doing. The Hellcat was so bad for the environment, it could empty its entire tank in just 11 minutes. Take that, Mother Nature. Dealerships had wait lists, drag strips were overrun, and the Hellcat instantly became an icon. But here's where Dodge made their first mistake. They made it too easy to access that power. For just 60,000 buckaroos, you could own a car with more horsepower than a Lamborghini, and a bright red key that screamed good luck to anyone that tried to start it and drive it. And when you hand 700 horsepower to the public, you can probably guess what happened next. It didn't take long for police departments across America to start noticing something strange. Hellcats were popping up in every high-speed pursuit. Thieves had figured it out. This thing wasn't just a fast car, it was the fast car. Easy to steal, almost impossible to catch.
He is losing us.
0 to 100 in under 6 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 100 right there. And at top speed, that could dust almost every police cruiser in the country. Some drivers even filmed their escapes, turning felonies into viral TikToks for the childrens to watch at home. Dodge had accidentally made the most infamous getaway car since the movie Bullitt. But here's where things get weird. Even regular owners started pushing these things to the limit. In 2022, a man in North Carolina hit 198 miles per hour before he got caught. Another Hellcat owner turned his machine into a little drift missile right in front of the police. It was chaos, and police were desperate to try to find a way to stop them. Remember that, because their solution, you're not gonna believe it. Now, there were 3 things that made these Hellcats unstoppable, until some very smart police departments found a way to fight fire with fire. We'll get to that in a second though. First thing was speed. At 707 horsepower, the Hellcat is a rocket. Even police interceptors, like the Ford Explorer or the Dodge Pursuit thing, they didn't stand a chance. Those top out at around 150 miles per hour. That's walking speed to a Hellcat, which can blow way past 200. Second was simplicity. No hybrid systems, no electronic limiters, just 2 pedals and a supercharger scream. And third was sound. This might actually be its most dangerous weapon. The supercharger whine and exhaust roar literally entice the driver to drive like a flippin' maniac. It's like the car itself is daring you to keep pushing. Dodge didn't just engineer performance, they engineered temptation. And that temptation was spreading fast. Police were losing chase after chase, until someone realized you could just catch a Hellcat with another Hellcat. Now, in the midst of all this chaos, Dodge saw what was going on. Their cars were showing up in police reports and viral chase compilations, all at once. And instead of backing off, they leaned in. Ads with lines like domestic, not domesticated, I don't even know what that means. But they also said, Dodge may impair your ability to obey the rules. They knew exactly what they were doing. Hellcats became symbols of rebellion, chaos, rebellion. By 2023, they officially topped the list of America's most stolen vehicles, as if it couldn't get any worse. insurance companies started charging ridiculous premiums. And then Dodge quietly announced that they were discontinuing all Hellcat engines by 2024. Officially, they blamed emission regulations. But the truth? The Hellcat had gotten too wild for its own good. Still, even as production ended, a few police departments were just getting started. In 2024, the final Hellcats rolled off the production line. No more red keys, no more supercharged V8s. The end of the loudest chapter in American history. But the legend, it's not dying. Because even today, Hellcats are still being stolen, raced, chased, and every time you hear that supercharger scream in the distance, you can't help but look. But here's the twist. The part that most people don't know. Hundreds of these hell creatures ended up impounded after being caught for reckless driving. And instead of sending them to auction or back to their owners, some police departments kept them. They snatched them right up. They turned seized Hellcats into full-blown police cruisers. Same power, same noise, just with a little siren glued on top. Because the only thing that can keep up with a Hellcat is, lo and behold, another Hellcat. Who would have guessed? It's genius, really. And a little poetic, little Shakespeare on those guys. The monster Dodge created, now fighting on the other side. Whether you love them or hate them, one thing's for sure. Dodge didn't just build a muscle car. They built an